Steve Domenico in the Room podcast on a Wednesday night. A beautiful day in the New England area today. Definitely around the 80 degree mark, maybe more. It was like 95 in my car, but that's a whole nother story. Well, anyway, two great guests, actually three great guests. Two of them on right now. I have Daniel, Mina, and Steve Konopka on to talk about their adventures heading into the future and what they have established together or separately in the past and, have got together and created together in the past few months, man. So welcome to the show, guys. First time meeting Steve, but Dan, you and I know each other from, events and Ascension, Underdog, and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Steve. This is awesome. Appreciate you taking the time to get us on here.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's great meeting you finally. We've been chatting back and forth, and this is awesome, man. I love what you're doing. I'm real excited to be a part of it, man.
Excellent, man. Well, guys, there's a lot to talk about. I'm going to have you on about 40 minutes. If we can't capture everything here, you guys are going to have your own podcast down the line that we're going to be talking about. Maybe I can come on that and we can finish our discussion if we don't get through all of it today. But guys, man, let's start. Dan, I know a lot about you, but let's tell fans or followers that don't know much about you, your background, martial arts, how you got involved with Ascension, and kind of where you are at now in your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So my martial arts journey actually probably started from when I was a little kid, with your typical, I grew up with the 80s action movies, and the Van Dams and the Steven Seagals and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I had just this passion for it where I just mimicked everything. I felt like I always said I've been a ninja. I just needed to learn the moves, right? And later down, I didn't find jiu-jitsu actually till probably about 6 years ago. And it was, I knew what jiu-jitsu was and I was a fan of the UFC. And I just never put two and two together that, holy cow, I can actually do that. So I started jiu-jitsu at over 30 years old. When I did, I was dating this girl and she wanted to do a Groupon for a Krav Maga class. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And when we did it, there was actually a jiu-jitsu class going on at the same time. And I was like totally checked out of this Krav thing. And I was like, yeah, but what's going on over there? Can I do that? And then I literally started the next day and I never left. I never left the mats. And that was actually back at the old Gracie Seymour, which is Black Hole, Connecticut now. It was Doug Lindquist and Andrew Tebey and Aaron Tebey. So that's where I started. And then from there, my passion just grew. I instantly took on to jiu-jitsu. It fit me very well and fit my learning pathway style very well. So it's always a lot of fun when you can do something and grasp it pretty quickly. So that was awesome. That led me to, I live in Bristol. That led me to Ascension Athletics back in 2016, where I met Jeff and Matt. And at the time, I wasn't in business for martial arts. I was doing other things, sales, marketing. And I just started seeing things. I love jiu-jitsu so much. I was bouncing around different gyms, seeing as many partners as I can. But while doing that, I learned a lot about the business and how gyms run and who does things good and who does things not so good. And I would just come back and take that to Jeff and Matt. And I'm like, give them little things like, hey, I think we can do this better. I think we can do that better. Long story short, that led to both of them being like, you know what? We think you'd be a pretty good asset in this business for us. And they involved me in the business as an owner. And then back in October 2019, we decided to move to a big 5,000 square foot facility, which I helped make happen. And here I am today as owner of Ascension Athletics with Jeff Haddad and Matt Bissett. I coach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I do striking. I do it all here, the marketing, everything like that. And you know how it is here. We got a hell of a crew. We're just getting started, man.
Excellent. All right, Dan, I'm going to be bouncing back between both you guys. But Steve, I know that you're associated with Dan now, but let's talk about your roots. You have a special program, a special business that caters to more of the future of athletics. But I mean, you're vast all over. But let's talk about what your specifics and what you created, and your background in physical fitness and sports.
Thanks, man. Yeah, my background was, as a youth, I played all sports. If there was a competition on, I don't care what it was, I was there. And I grew up loving wrestling, football, baseball, all the above. Once I got to high school, I played football and wrestling. Ended up going to college for football and had a brief stint in the NFL. And then from there, after that stint was cut short, I went into the Arena Football League, and I had an 8-year career in there, which I attribute to my training methods, to be honest with you. And I went to college for exercise science at Central Connecticut State University. That's where I played football as well. And I fell in love with training and just getting better and stronger. I think probably since I was like 12 years old, when I found Arnold Schwarzenegger's Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, right? And way back when, I was just like, dude, look at these muscles, look how strong they are. And I just wanted it, And then the stronger and bigger I got, the better I got at sports as well, And I may not have been training correctly back then, but there wasn't the information we had now, And but the one thing I did correctly was consistency, And then after my career, my plans were to open up a gym, and my football career got ended short by a car accident, believe it or not. And so the whole gym business and the whole post-career after football career was cut before it even got off the feet. And I was fighting just to walk normal again and be pain-free. So I couldn't train anybody. I couldn't run a gym. Went into business with a friend of mine, in a business that, did nothing for me except provide for my family. And slowly, as my kids grew and got into wrestling, and, everything started just snowballing, a couple of kids here and there they would have a shoulder injury, and I'd say, oh, listen, you got to fix this. You got to take care of this now. You can't just let it keep going. And so I would help a few kids, and then help a couple other things. And it just snowballed to where I was training. I would work all day, come home at 6 o'clock, train 3, 4, 5, 6 kids in my basement in about 350 square feet. And then that grew to about 30 kids. And like, it just snowballed and snowballed. And then I built my own studio on my property, and that's what I have now, Strength and Honor Training. And, I specialize in youth performance and youth sports, getting athletes training right, properly. It's not all about the weight. It's about the function. It's about the movement patterns. And then I just, over the last decade, really became entrenched in human performance for all sports. It's just, how do I take any athlete, and make them bigger, faster, stronger, and more injury resistant, right? So many people, in my opinion, are training wrong, per se. They're training hard, and they got the effort and the motive, but the pattern or the workout program isn't designed, in the best interest for their sport and their, and their desires and their goals. So I've been really, the last 10 years, just sharpening the pencil, studying and through experience and stuff. And that's one thing my system, I think, and my experiences have over other things. I put it on the line, right? Like, my paycheck my livelihood depended on how I performed, right? So I had to make sure if it wasn't working, I wasn't doing it, And there's a lot of times where bro science meets real world science. And a lot of times it's somewhere in between. If pro athletes and the biggest, fastest, strongest guys are doing it, I don't care what those textbooks says. There's a reason why they're doing it, And now obviously I'm an old man now. I can't compete like anywhere what I used to. right? So my passion is helping youth athletes not make mistakes I made, and older athletes help them. You know, that's my goal now. That's where I get my joy and my passion from, is watching them succeed and just having that little tiny bit to help them get there, man. So that's my quick background, you know, and that's what we're at now. Before we
I'm one of those old athletes.
It was like, he's like one of these old, the guy looks like, you know, look at him. He's like, not a wrinkle on him. It's got to be the exercise regimen and all that good eating. Now, it's not only that you're getting, you know, them physically fit. I mean, you're helping them with nutrition, and you're teaching kids, you know, you don't have to like be, I mean, you want them to be kids. I mean, you don't want them to shy away from wanting to be healthy and stuff. And a lot of coaches, not a lot, but the wrong coaches or the wrong nutritionists, they scare the kids and thinking they can't have anything. So explain a little about that, how you get to these kids and you make them believe and make them follow what you're putting out there.
You know, a lot of it is a lot of coaches, a lot of nutritionists, at least in my experience, when parents come, they'll say, okay, here's the plan. This is what you should do. And it's not knowing the background of what the kid's been doing already. The parents aren't knowledgeable. A lot of people don't have the knowledge. It's not the desire. It's sometimes they're not educated enough where they know, you know, that trip to McDonald's isn't a healthy choice. They just think, oh, my kid's hungry, he needs to eat, I got to feed him, right? There's a million other things. So it's a lot of times it's educating the parents, which is just small, easy things. And it's not ripping up their whole game plan and throwing it out the window. It's, hey, let's add one or two things here. You know, even with some of our fighters at Ascension, it's not saying, okay, you eat like garbage, man. You're horrible. You're a bad person. It's not that. It's, hey, let's start adding some protein here post-workout, right? Let's start making sure you're hydrated more, okay? This is how much are you drinking water? Just simple things like making them aware of how much hydration and protein and good foods is good for their body to help them perform better. You know, not shaming because, oh, you're eating this. It's okay, let's start by adding protein post-workout. Let's wake up and have 12 ounces of water. You know what? This week, let's add 1 serving of vegetables twice a day. You know, just little steps like that. And then it becomes like a lifestyle and they understand it. So it's not just throwing a meal plan or a supplement plan on their lap and saying, here, follow this or a workout plan. It's, yeah, in my opinion, it's almost like you got to teach them how to fish, not just throw fish on their lap. And with athletes, especially dedicated athletes like the fighters we have at Ascension or all the wrestlers, football players I have, it's they feel better because they know why they're doing it, you know, and it'll carry on in life when they're gone out of my hands. You know what I mean? When I want to send them to college and stuff, I want to make sure they know how to take care of themselves.
Excellent. Well, Steve, as you were speaking, I played your Facebook page and showed how you could get connected to your website, showed a little of your website there. Man, you got a lot of things going on. I'm going to get back to you, Steve, but let me get to Dan. And Dan, we'll talk about Ascension and everything that you got going on there. I mean, I know you got a ton of, events that you guys not only do in jiu-jitsu, but you got the MMA going on and all sorts of things. But let's get to how you guys got together and how you and Dan met and Dan, how you and Steve met and how you guys are getting together and what you're doing together. Steve, you mentioned Ascension, our athletes over there. So, Dan, how did Steve get involved with Ascension?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we met Steve through wrestling. Steve has a couple hammer sons in wrestling. And it was through a mutual friend who introduced us, told us what Steve was doing. We met Steve. He was everything we were looking for. We knew we wanted a strength and conditioning coach. Actually, I'll take that back. He was everything we were looking for and more. And when we met him, it just fit the vibe, which if you've ever been to Ascension Athletics, the culture here, the environment here is one of the most important things to us. And he fit that bill. plus his training is just top notch. So we talked and made it happen. Honestly, we actually started training. I think a few of us started training with you down at your facility, Steve, and once that started going, we started seeing like what type of workouts and how we were feeling after his workouts. And let me tell you, I've been to a lot of strength and conditioning coaches, a lot of personal trainers. None of them can hold a candle to this guy. I'll stand by that all day. I got 2 herniated discs in my back from car accidents that have hindered me on the mats forever. And over the last 6 months, I'm starting to not even feel that after I roll or during I roll or waking up stiff like I usually did. It's just not happening anymore. So eventually we talked to Steve and said, hey, man, what do you guys think about coming together and doing a program right out of the gym where, you know, we have these performance athletes, we have very competitive wrestlers at all age levels. We have a very strong competition team in jiu-jitsu, and we have a budding MMA program as well. You know, adding that to our athletes was just a no-brainer. And actually, you can see right behind me, we have this whole rig here. This is where it happens. You know, we got all this workouts here. We got all sorts of machines. Back there's the mat space. Those guys are training MMA right now. But yeah, that's how it happened. That's how he came down here.
Well, Steve, when you were speaking earlier, Dan, I'm playing, showing some of the website, Ascension's website, everything you have on there to offer and that you spoke about. But Steve, when I was flashing some of your pictures, and now Dan just mentioned the equipment behind you, there's some really cool stuff. I mean, I saw some standing shoulder press machine that the kids were using and stuff like that. I mean, how do you get a kid on that, and how do you get him to not be afraid of that thing?
The thing, everything is an experience level and making sure that foundation is strong, right? All different machines aren't necessarily for everybody, right? And in my program, it's very personal. It's auto-regulated for whatever the athlete needs. We start them young, and with working out, it's not so much, hey, today's bench day, today's squat day. We train movement patterns. And that's, especially I think in the MMA and wrestling world, I think we're very far behind, like in how to train properly to increase performance, right? MMA and wrestlers and jiu-jitsu, they know that grind. Unless they're like beaten up and chewed up and spit out, they don't feel like they worked out, you know? And so when they take that same mindset towards the weight room, all you're doing is overtraining. All right. So you've already done 1,000 pulls, right? Grappling and wrestling. You've already done 1,000 push-ups, just pushing back and forth. That's not, if you want to get better, you need to increase your strength and your power output. And that doesn't come from another 500 reps on the bench press, right? Or 500 bench reps on a ball press. So I start everybody off on movement patterns, and we the squat, the hinge, the press, and they get functionally strong. So then they're strong enough to train properly. And, you know, and some people are quicker than others. And if they're not ready for it, they don't touch it, you know, and then, because that's not going to happen under my watch, you know, and it's pretty exciting to watch. Even the younger kids, you know, they watch the older group with like Dan in there and Jeff, and they're hitting the barbells and the dumbbells. And we use a lot of other
word again.
What's that?
There he goes with that old word again.
All right, the pro elite crew, and and then they see what's ahead, and they want that, and they desire that, and they want to get better. And meanwhile, they're doing the same movement pattern, but they don't have a barbell on their back. They got a nice sandbag across their chest, or they're holding it, and that's the right way to do it, in my opinion, and get them functionally strong to be able to withstand proper training down the road.
Excellent, my man. Well, Dan, when does Steve when does he come and talk to you people there? Like, what nights are you there, and what's your schedule with Ascension?
Yeah, so Steve's here 3 days a week. He's here Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays for 5:45, 5:45, 5:30, 5:45, right around there. And we split it up. We have a session for our MMA fighters. We have and jiu-jitsu practitioners. A session for our youth wrestling, and a session for our high school wrestling. And what's really cool with Steve is that he, one day a week of strength training is usually not enough. He wants you doing three, and the other 2 days for each group, they're on an app that Steve has, and he's got their workouts for them specifically for each person for where they're at. And they come here and just do that on their own time, and they already know the patterns because we work them with Steve 1 day a week, and then come in and do it the other 2 days on our own.
Excellent, my man. Steve, you have children or young men, a couple of
Yes.
young gentlemen that how are they? Are they like like these kids must be built like Mack trucks and suplexing people everywhere. How are they? And
That's not that far off.
go ahead, Steve. How are they? And how do they help you out with this? Because they must be around you 24/7 because they're very athletic, right?
Yeah, they're athletic. They work real hard. I like to say that I led by example and just, showed them the right way, and they fell in love with exercise and being fit, and they love sports. They love wrestling, and, that's near and dear to my heart. So I can't complain. They love the work, and that makes me happy, so they're healthy. They work hard. They love it. And, they come down there to Ascension, and they get the top coaching around by far. And then then we hang around and they work out. And, my little 8-year-old will jump in with the pro elite club just because he'll sit there and argue with me for 15 minutes that he should be working out with them. And it's just not worth the time or the effort. So we just let him in there. And sometimes he slits on the sleds, guys pull, sometimes he pushes it, so it's a great atmosphere. Like Dan was saying before, like the environment and the situation at Ascension. I mean, it is, I've been on millions of teams, and it is something wholesome. It is something very, it's top notch. The tribe down there, the group, the core of people, the philosophies, everything. And it's great to be able to be a part of it. For one thing, the fighters, Dan's son, Kobe, is like one of my main projects for training. And he is,
which is a problem for my son's 18 now. And, daddy's strength's there, he's always going to be there. But, man, Steve's really cut some years off of that for me.
Oh, my God. Hey, Dan, you knew this day would come. Day would come.
Yeah, but I was going to be sped up. So I'm over here. I got to out-technique him big time because he's in his prime, and he's getting ridiculously built literally like a Bruce Lee look. So
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, he's hard, and he looks amazing, and now his strength and is catching up to his crazy skill level. So that's something. I've never been a part of that, like the jiu-jitsu world or MMA world. I've trained with them before. I've trained with fighters in my past and stuff, but never as personal as I am now. And it's like, I'm loving it, man. It's like, to me, it's like a kinetic chess game. It's like, how do I get these guys to perform better and be more injury resistant? And I'm loving it, man. I'm eating it up in the fight, and all the guys down at Ascension, man, they're eating it up too. It's like, what else can I do? What else can I do? When I go with the nutrition, like just today, 3 of them sent me their meal plans. Hey, I'm feeling good. My Whoop recovery is perfect. Thanks for this. And hey, I'm feeling a little slight. So nothing's better than when an athlete wants it. It's sometimes it's hard wanting it more than the athlete, but these guys, and that just goes to, it feeds off the coaches down there in the atmosphere, just good, solid people that just want everyone there to get better. No one's like just me. And that's a great feeling.
Excellent, my guys. Well, we got about 12, 13 more minutes, man. So let's cover a couple of other things. I want to talk about this podcast that you guys are developing and that's coming out. We want to talk about that. But first, Dan, man, you're a big, a jiu-jitsu guy, as you spoke in the beginning. That's what you fell in love with. That's what your journey is all about nowadays. Let's talk about, you got back coaching, right? The kids are back on the mats and
Yeah, absolutely.
You wanted to talk a little bit about that and how excited you are that, the world is opening up and these kids get to get out there and show what you guys are doing behind closed doors to them.
Absolutely, man. It was this weekend we went to the Ammo Grappling Championships with our kids for the first time since pre-COVID. And I'll tell you what, our kids program, even with COVID, like we closed down March 13th, we were online doing Zoom classes April 1st, like 2 weeks later. And I mean, I don't know how Zoom classes went for most schools, but we had like 20, 24 kids at every class. And we just changed the format. Like obviously you couldn't teach jujitsu in the way that it's taught on the mats with a partner. So I changed it into movement drills specifically for jujitsu and just exercises and things like that, specifically drawn from jujitsu positions and things like that. And they came out this weekend just like ridiculous. They just wrecked house. There was like 4 different finals that were 2 Ascension kids going at it. We won the team championship there and that thing. But the adults are grinding away too, taking wins. We're just getting started, man. This place, let me tell you that the vibe in here, the work ethic in this room, and our head coach Jeff Haddad, can't say enough about him. Jeff. Many people know Jeff. Many people don't know how high level Jeff is as a coach. I'm willing to bet right in New England right now, he's probably one of the top head coaches around. No questions asked. But as far as competitions go, Steve, I wanted to talk about that because it's an interesting thing with jiu-jitsu competitions, right? If you ever wrestled, right, when you go to a wrestling competition, you could wrestle for $20, $30 and get in a wrestling tournament, right? Jiu-jitsu is much more expensive, right? You're talking like on an early bird special, you might get it $80, right? More likely 100. Some people are 120, 140, right? Well, if you're going to charge that much, just as to all these people, these promotions, you better start performing and putting out a product that matches up to that price tag. Because from what I'm seeing out there, you got the IBJJF, and people can hate on them all you want. But when it comes to running a tournament, they're on it to the minute, on it. So the blueprint's there. It can be done. After IBJJF, it's a humongous drop off for what tournaments are. And then, you see people running things like gyms running events and stuff like that. Why are they doing that? First of all, because the tournament scene is crazy. You pay $100 and you might lose a match and be out and you're out $100. When it comes to jiu-jitsu, we all know that, the more roles, the more partners you can get, the better, right? But if you got to pay $100-something for that every single time and the product's not that great, it's a little tough. I'd like to see these promotions really step it up. It's wide open. I'm telling you, don't make me come out there. I'll do it. We ran the IGCs last year and that went incredible. And that was something that we wanted to do to get into the tournament scene. I got other projects going on. So that's on the back burner, but I'm really hoping something happens. Somebody comes up with something, just figure it out, because it doesn't matter if I'm not going to name any promotion names, but it doesn't matter which one is. There's just major flaws in what's going on, whether it be bracketing, whether it be timing, whether it be running on a system that's not optimized for the tournament or relying on the building's Wi-Fi to run smooth comp when we all know smooth comp for a big situation like that is it's going to be, if it goes down, what's your backup plan? Oh, I got everything on smooth comp, but it's off. The internet went out, and now we're everyone's standing around, 16 mats empty. So I really like to see tournaments step it up, or bring the price down, man. You know, I saw a tournament a couple weeks ago. There's like 1,000 registered people. If you did that at the low number of 80, which is the lowest possible, you got to pay for that. Look how much money that is. That's like $8,000 for a tournament. What's your expenses? The venue, the referees, everything else paid for, the mats, you already have that stuff. So, you know, spend some of that money in making your systems better.
Well,
and
that's going to lead us to our last segment with you guys, because you guys are starting a podcast together, and something like you just talked about there, Dan, man, is something that you can address on the new podcast, that you can have guests on and you can debate that and get really people that know what they're talking about, because you know, that's not for me. That's like you guys could really get right down to the heart of the subject and get something done, man. So let's talk about what you two guys, this next project. I don't know if you already have it in the works. It's been working. Yeah. Let's talk about this new podcast that you guys have developed and you have together.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a podcast. It drops June 1st. We already have some episodes recorded, ready to go. We're just making sure everything's right. We've had a June 1st date for the last 4 months, and we're going to hit that date perfectly. So it's great. But it's called the Armor Podcast. It's all about what we call forging the mind, body, and spirit, right? When you talk about someone and the resiliency of growing through the mats or whatever in life, right? It's the hard things that make you stronger. It's how you armor yourself. It's how you make yourself more resilient. When it comes to the body, Steve's huge nutrition guy. I'm a big nutrition guy. It's been one of my passions. I went to school for nutrition. So we're talking about optimizing the body and just building armor for your mind, body, and spirit. And we're going to tackle all sorts of subjects, whether it be the benefits of jiu-jitsu and wrestling for life, optimizing your diet, workouts with Steve on how to do this properly for the injury prevention. He's mentioned it a couple times, but it's something that people don't train that much. That specifically, right? You got someone attacking a Kimura on you all the time, attacking your shoulder. How strong is that rotator cuff ready to take that damage? Steve, you want to add anything there?
Yeah, it's it was so weird, because when we were at Ascension, we were just sitting there, and when Dan and I really started gelling is once we got up and running at the new facility. Mm-hmm. And I think it was like every day we were shooting each other back stuff about nutrition, or this type of coffee, or this type of vegetable, or this type of meditation. I mean, it was like everything we were coming from was like always on the same page, and like in the same day we were like sending each other the same thing almost. Yeah. And we're like, and then one day we were talking, and he's sitting behind the desk, and I just finished training the guys, and I was like, dude, we need to do a podcast about this. And his eyes lit up, and they were like, I've been thinking about that for you. And it was like, and I'm like, it's just, we have so much, you know, obviously everyone's got knowledge, but we have so much knowledge within these categories and experience, you know, and we're always trying to learn too. That's the thing. Like as much as I know and as much as he knows, he'll send me something. I'm like, oh, another rabbit hole for me to go down now. Right. And the same thing, vice versa. And it's through all our experiences and the knowledge that we do have, we were like, you know, we got to get this out. You know, there's so many people, so many athletes we can help get stronger, healthier, just better, healthier individuals, not just for sports. You know, I mean, that's kind of our goal, but just to be a healthy adult or child. You know, there's a lot of stuff, and we get it out there, and we find ourselves talking to people about this stuff all the time. And then we were just like, hey, let's figure this out, man. And we went full speed ahead into it. So we're really excited about what we're going to drop and what we're going to give to people to get healthier and build armor, you know, build that body's armor, mind, body, and spirit.
Excellent. Well, you have you have content for days, years, months, because, you know, Ascension, what you're doing, Steve, and just like the outside people that you can have, you know, discuss these topics, man. So when is the first episode, and how many did you say you've taped already?
Yeah, so we've done about 4 episodes. June 1st they'll drop. I'm not sure if I'm gonna drop it one, but maybe probably all 4 at that time. So we can give people a chance to see what we're about, what we're talking about. First one's pretty much introducing our backgrounds. The second one's introducing the actual podcast and what it will be covering. And then the third and fourth are actual topics.
Excellent. Is this audio and video or audio only right now?
We're going to just do audio right now. We want it easily digestible. Put it in your headphones, put it in your car, go through it. Down the road, we will actually, I'm sorry, let me back up a little. The podcast is going to be audio, but we do have video content where we're going to be going through jiu-jitsu techniques, MMA techniques, strength and conditioning techniques, recipes that Steve has, I have, and things like that we will put out for our subscriber base, right? So the podcast will be free to everyone. We do have a subscription model where all this bonus stuff will be available to the subscribers.
Excellent. Where are we going to find this? Did you say that? I'm sorry, I was looking at my phone. How do we find this podcast?
Yeah, so the website's thearmorpodcast.com. You can go right there. Right now it says coming soon, obviously, but right there it'll be linked to get the podcast. And then also you can listen to it anywhere you can find podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, all of the above.
Nice. Are you doing all are you the tech guy, Dan? Are you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm actually on the stuff right now. I was testing it out. I got the microphone out. I don't know how I sound on that end, but this end is pretty good.
Oh, you sound great over. You sound great over here. I mean, you probably sound better than if I called in somewhere.
Yeah. So
we are on Instagram at the Armor Podcast.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think I just joined you maybe yesterday or the day before. Yeah, I'm starting to follow your social. I got like 3 different social media pages, one for New England MMA, one for the podcast, and one for my shit post stuff.
Yeah, that's my favorite page.
It is. Yeah, that one's gonna be private though, or I'd be banned already. So I keep it up. You gotta follow. You gotta actually ask to follow that page because it's kind of I go a little too much with that one sometimes.
Yeah, so pretty much Armor Podcast on everything. Armor Podcast on Instagram, The Armor Podcast, Forging the Mind, Body, and Spirit, Facebook page, and the website, thearmorpodcast.com.
Excellent, my man. Well, guys, great getting in touch with you, learning a little bit or a lot about Steve, but I'd like to, maybe, I don't know, come down on your podcast someday or whatever. But man, we'll have you on again. Maybe I'll have you on separate. You know what I mean? We'll talk about what's going on separately. But dudes, anything last you want to say? Steve, I'll let you go, and then I'll let Dan take us out of here.
Yeah, nothing. Just thanks for having us, man. And everybody tune in June 1st. We're gonna, if you liked what you heard here, it's gonna be nothing but great tips for exercise, nutrition, food, training. What's going on, especially in the local New England area. We're going to touch base on that, give a lot of spotlight to, all the hardworking athletes around here as well. And just get the info out there, man, so everybody can get better.
Excellent, my man. Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say thank you as well, Steve. I know, neither of us are MMA fighters, and you had us on. I appreciate that. But yeah, catch the podcast. I got a feeling you guys are going to like it. Come to Ascension Athletics. We're a very open environment. We allow people to train from other gyms. We got open mats on Friday nights for striking and jiu-jitsu. And fair warning to all the gyms out there, these guys are working really hard, so be ready. Be ready.
And be on your toes, too, you BJJ promotions, because Dan will take over. He's,
I will.
All right, guys. Thanks for calling in, man. I know you. This podcast will be on YouTube tomorrow. It'll also be on Spotify and all the podcast links. So I know you guys didn't get to really. You don't know what the hell was going on, but you'll be able to listen to it tomorrow and share it again. So, guys. Tune in. I'm going to have Johnny Cupcakes on very soon. We're going to talk about that great win he had back in the beginning of the month, man. Dismantling on TV, man. All right, guys, you have a great night. And Steve, man, nice meeting you, bro. We'll definitely talk again in the future.
Yeah, man. Thanks again, man. Have a great time.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Take care, guys.
Steve, I'll see you tomorrow.
Later.
Peace.
Okay, take care.
All right, there's my two guys gone. Awesome. That was friggin' awesome. Steve Konopka, I hope I said that right, CPPS. A CPPS is a Certified Physical Preparation Specialist. What that means is he's special, and he's special in the physical fitness training aspect, I'm saying. And Dan Mina, man, I've known him for a while. I've been to Ascension. Ascension has expanded. I believe he said they moved. I didn't know if they knocked down some walls and just expanded or moved to just a bigger facility. But they are huge. They are a major factor in the New England MMA, BJJ, wrestling, all that great stuff that makes killers. So Johnny Cupcakes Campbell, I'm going to message him right now, see how he's doing. Ready, Johnny? If anyone's out there as a producer who would like to come down and do this like once a week for me, so I don't have to this. Here we go, Johnny. Hopefully he comes in on camera. There, oh yeah, here we go. Let me figure this out right now. Hopefully Johnny's not naked. Johnny Cupcakes Campbell, baby. What's going on?
What's up?
Man, let me get your text up here. And not that no one isn't going to know who you are, but I got to look kind of professional here. You know what I mean, Johnny. All right, let me move that. Johnny, man, thank you for coming on, man. Thanks for the time as always, man. How's it going?
I'm happy to. Fantastic. How are things with you?
Excellent, man. I don't know if you were listening or what, but I had a strength and conditioning coach really bringing up the youth coming out of Ascension Martial Arts. And I had Daniel Mina, a tournament guy, coach, and friends and co-owner of Ascension, man. Dude, what's going on, man? Congratulations on all your success and
thank you.
Blowing up Bellator a couple of weeks ago, man. How you feeling a couple of weeks out, man?
Really good. Really good. So I just had some ice cream, and after I finished the ice cream, the first thought that came to my mind was, what should I have for dessert now? So life is fucking good right now.
Cupcakes, man. Cupcakes.
Boom.
I'd like to thank your girlfriend, Martina, man. She got us connected. Johnny, I know your phone's probably off the hook. Everyone's coming out, wants to talk to Johnny about that fabulous win. But I got you tonight, man. Let's talk about that, brother. Before that night, Johnny, I didn't see you much on social media. Like, you announced the fight. It was a little, a couple of days. Yeah. Everyone's like, and we wrote a story. Boom, boom, boom. I didn't see you. And I would talk to Laz and Travis. I'd be like, they're like, hey, I said, Johnny's training hot. Johnny is in seclusion, man. He's like Rocky in fucking Russia right now. He's in seclusion, man, because he's coming out on fire. And we talked about it. I said how Johnny's just going to come after this guy. Johnny, let's talk about this fight, brother, because you shocked Bellator and you didn't shock yourself. But let's talk about it, man, and how good it is, bro.
It felt so good. So Henry just felt kind of like a regular guy. This just felt like a normal fight. I really feel like I'm seriously coming into like my prime. I saw a photo of me back like in one of my amateur fights. I was like 25 years old, but I look like I was 12. I just feel like I'm like a late bloomer. And I really think at 34, I'm like seriously figuring this out. I mean, Corrales is a guy that has been in there with so many good fighters. And then for me to just handle him like the way that I did, I mean, just shows that, I have so much in the tank still. And everything just went nearly perfectly. I didn't have quite as much gas as I would have liked to have, so I couldn't stay on my bike as much. I couldn't move, and when I hit him with that like high kick, spinning back fist, and then like threw that like looping left hook that cracked him. It was just like, man, I can knock this guy out, and I deviated a little bit from the game plan. Didn't kick his leg as much as I should have in the first, but man, it worked out so good. And I was just in there being me, just being myself for the first time really for in a long time.
Well, welcome to the bantamweights, brother, my man. Dude, did he feel any different than? I mean, he was dropping down the first his first fight at that weight. Did he, did he seem like he was a featherweight, or did he seem? I mean, when he at weigh-ins coming up, I mean, he was ripped, but to me, it looked like he cut a bunch of weight to make that weigh-ins. Man, what'd you feel in there from this dude?
Yeah, I mean, he felt like big, I grabbed onto him a couple times, and when he took me down, being on the ground with him, he just felt like he was like, yeah, big, like he was long, and his legs and arms were long, his torso was like long and kind of wide, but ultimately he was so skinny. He was so damn skinny. I mean, he's a great boxer, and I mean, he was having a hard time hitting me, but a couple times he looked like he was like a girl in a street fight, for crying out loud, like punching with his wrists and shit. I don't know if that's totally the weight cut or just him being like so confused by the way I was moving. But yeah, he hit me with some like clean shots, and I said it, he just could not have hurt me if he had hit me with like a fucking brick. I don't think he could have hurt me. So I just knew that that I would eventually clip him and shake his brain up and make him fall down like I did. So yeah, I mean, he weighed like 158 and a half that night. They reweighed me. I weighed like 59 with clothes on. And I was like, ah, shit, is that going to get me flagged for like rehydrating too much? And the guy's like, well, probably, but your opponent weighed in the same. And he like pointed him at Corrales' name on the list, and he was 58.6. So, I mean, he definitely cut quite a bit of weight.
Yeah.
And I mean, no one really talked about it, but he weighed 135.0. And I think that was intentional. And I think that he was looking to like jump right in the mix at that 135 division. So yeah, he definitely cut a bunch of weight, which I knew that he would. I mean, that was partially why I took the fight. A 45er coming down to 35 at 34 years old. I was like, yeah, this is money. This is a perfect fight. So where some people saw danger, I saw opportunity.
Well, that first round full of exchanges in there, brother. You definitely frustrated him because, like you said, he hit you and you smiled at him, basically, as you do, and then you went into, as Johnny is. Johnny, I can't say character because it is you in that cage, Johnny Cupcakes Campbell in that cage, man. So you definitely, I think he was like, holy shit, what did I get myself into? And who did they fucking match me up against? Because, Johnny, you just tore him to shreds. And coming into that second round, what was your thought getting off that stool? You talked a little bit about maybe you thought you would have liked to have a little more, in the tank. But, I mean, you looked pretty damn good in that second round, man. What was the thought, and what was the corner saying to you coming off that stool in the second?
Bill was saying basically that the striking was working and that I should be continuing to do that. And that, don't let up on those leg kicks. I mean, there was a few times in that second round where he would like hit me with a punch, and I would kind of drop my hands and then just kick his leg and leave my head exposed, because I knew that I was probably scoring more kicking his leg than he was hitting me even 2 times or whatever. And it was for sure his leg was jacked up, no doubt about it. It's just, yeah, that was the biggest thing. Stick onto that leg kick, keep hitting it. I was going a little bit on that calf, a little bit on the thigh after freaking Weidman busted up his leg.
Yeah.
I'm like, the whole game plan was I'm just gonna wreck his legs, and then
Yeah.
Weidman breaks his leg, and I was like, all right, that's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
No more leg kicks. Never again.
Dude, it seemed after that Weidman thing, guys were using leg kicks even more after that. I was like,
know.
holy shit, I was fucking.
It's like statistically that happens so like infrequently. If it had just happened to Chris, the likelihood is not going to happen again for a while. So
Yeah,
we
exactly.
may as well get him in.
Throw them in there. Well, Johnny, I got a little story for you, right? So I'm old as the hills, right? So I got 5 childhood friends that I still go out to dinner with, like maybe once a month, sometimes twice if we're lucky. But we go to a restaurant from where around we live, right? So I was meeting them at their house. You were coming on, so I just got to their house, and they're with their wives and stuff like that. So we're ready to go out. And I come in and I got you on, right? You're ready. You're walking in. I'm like, we're not fucking going anywhere right now. And then everyone's like, and they're fans too, you know what I mean? But a couple of them, they're with their kids. Their kids are like teenagers, 18, 17, right? So they're all around. I'm like, where you going? Anyway, I put your phone right in the kitchen table, right in the middle, and we all surrounded it, and everyone was asking questions. And I explained exactly before the fight happened what's gonna go on, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of like what Travis and Laz talked about when we were breaking down the fight a little bit. But I was like, Johnny's just gonna go at him. He's gonna get him in a fucking. He's just gonna make him want to fight with him, and he's gonna. Yeah, and these guys are like. A minute ago, you're saying exactly what's going. Like these guys with these women, God, they were all glued. They're like,
"That's awesome.
This is your guy." I said, "Well, he's not my guy. He's a friend of mine. He's a friend." And he's like, "This is your guy." Yeah, he's our guy. And they, dude, instant love. People felt, man, how's the reaction been? I mean, Johnny, you were a celebrity after the ear explosion in fucking Brazil, but now, man, yeah.
Just keeps going up.
So what's going on now? How's it feeling? How's the feedback about this?
There's so many people hitting me up who put money on me because I was like a plus 600 underdog. So tons of people from England. Apparently they bet a lot in England because so many English people are hitting me up telling me that I won them a bunch of money. I'm their new pony that they're going to be betting on me from now on and shit. So it's been a freaking great. I get, like 350 Instagram followers over the last 2 weeks, like, just like a stock, I'm on the rise. So trying to continue that. They just put up the top 10 on Bellator, and I did not make that list being 1-0. I understand. So, but damn, man, there's some guys on there that I would love to get in the cage with. So, and there's some big fights. They got an active bantamweight division. We got Leandro Higo and Caldwell going this weekend, man. That's going to be lit. That's going to paint a big picture for, who's fighting for a title next. I mean, so many good guys at the top that are going to be fighting for that title and whatnot. So they're talking about maybe a tournament going on. So depending on what I'm doing or what happens exactly, I could be setting myself up to be in a bantamweight, title tournament really soon, end of the year maybe. So
was there, what is that? Are you waiting for Bellator? Is that going to be your next move, or could there be another opportunity that I like the eyes that might open up in the next month or so that you could be interested in, or is it just Bellator for you right now?
Well, so I mean, I'm open to all things. So I like to be open-minded with that. Bellator put it in the contract. The stipulation was that if I won the fight, that I would be, they would control my next fight. So, but there is a possibility. They might
let you get a little practice before you're back in that tournament. And you mentioned a name that I don't want to. You might have heard it. What'd you say?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So Jay Perrin has just been.
Oh my God!
That man's been running his mouth so much.
Out of all the names, he's not. I don't think he's you think he's watching right now? But anyway, he'll watch tomorrow. Probably. But anyway, you brought up Jay. Was anything said? I mean, Johnny.
Oh my God.
What was anything? Oh my God, what's going on? Was
That dude's just been talking so much shit that it's like it's beyond like a career or contracts. It's like so much farther than that. It's so much more of just like we have to actually fight, and we're both really good at it, so we may as well do it in a cage for a decent amount of money. So he's just been talking so much shit. After my ear, he talks shit. After this fight, he talks shit. I'm the one that's internationally ranked. I'm the one that's contracted with Bellator right now. He's coming off of 3 decisions in a row. Boring. He's talking about how he beats me 50-45. Funny thing about decisions is nobody remembers them. So it doesn't even matter. That shit out of people's heads immediately. They fell asleep during that fight and woke up when I lost and then forgot about it immediately. I'm totally different. I have evolved so much since that fight, and he has the same guy, still grabbing onto people, still laying on people, still barking about how Dana White said he won. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Nobody cares because he didn't get shit for it. That's a fight that just I think has to happen. So, yeah, and after my performance with Bellator, I think that they'd be willing to risk me just going out and smashing him and then coming back on a 2-fight win streak that much closer to a title.
So what you're saying is, Johnny, I'll say is if Bellator okays it, you want to fight Jay Perrin at Cage Titans.
This could be the official call out if you wanted to say that. Because
all right,
that's what it feels like.
Because I'm clipping this piece right out, throw that at Instagram tomorrow.
It's real too. This is like. It doesn't get more real than 2 people that don't like each other, and then the sport that they're actually in is fighting. It doesn't get more real than that. And if he knows that it's going to be a different guy. I've just been fighting different. Everything's different than when I fought him that first time. So I'm just going to be trying to cave his head in the entire time, and he knows that. And I have a feeling that he'll find a way out. It's only 6 weeks away, so that might not be enough time for him. I mean, I weigh 65 right now. I'll make 35 on 2 weeks' notice, guaranteed. So, the challenge is out there.
Well, as we know, that was mentioned yesterday on Table Titans last night. Last night they had it on Tuesday. Was that Cage Titans is going to Plymouth Memorial Hall, which means bigger capacity, bigger crowds.
Full capacity.
Full. He can even put a fucking tent in the friggin' parking lot. Everyone, you can't.
Wear a mask if you want. I don't even care.
So
wear 2.
So that it's the perfect storm for this fight to happen. So if Bellator okays it, if Perrin's ready, I guess it's already being spoke about. So, man, I'd love to see it. We need to see it. New England needs to see this fight.
I think so.
Excellent, my man. Well, dude, there's not much more we can talk about other than that. All right, last thing. Let's talk about the camp, the guys that were there helping you out for that Bellator fight. Who helped you along the way? Because like I said, Johnny, you were missing for like 2.5, 3 weeks from social media, and I knew you were in Russia somewhere lifting logs and stuff. So, man, talk about the preparation and how that team helped you out to get to that hand raised.
Yeah, South Shore sport fighting and the UFC gym also. Those, so many people in there helping me out, making me better every single day. So Bill Mahoney and Danielle Henley over at South Shore are like the cornerstones who they're always pushing people to get better. And if you're not getting better, then they're on your ass about what you should be working on. I got like D Sabatino, Zach in there just manhandling me. So then when I'm in there with a guy like Corrales or something, it just doesn't even matter. Kim Moy came out of retirement and helped me out some, gave me some really good rounds, and he's 185 pounds right now. So, try fighting that guy at 185. Oh my gosh. Ryan White, who, at South Shore, just like, holding it down with my striking, and Vincent Morin down over at UFC Boston. He's helping me all the time with my boxing, my footwork too. So without those 2 guys, my striking just wouldn't be as sharp as it is. So huge thanks to them. And then just the fucking my team in general, people that nobody knows, they're all just like motivating the crap out of me, whether it's the young guys in the gym, the kids at the gym. When I walk in the gym and they look at me and these kids winning tournaments and stuff, it's like, man, I got to be a success at this so that when I walk in this gym that they are motivated by me. So their potential motivation motivates me, and it's got me out, after the gym doing hill sprints and stuff. Before the gym being in to do, doing lifting and just jumping rope or whatever it is, that extra stuff that maybe some of these guys aren't doing, that stuff that, makes me a little bit sharper, a little bit more explosive in those fights when other people are dragging ass and I'm not. So, South Shore, Sport Fighting, and UFC Gym Boston, two of the best gyms on the East Coast, and they both get slept on too much.
Excellent, my man. One last thing, my friend. You're not the only training partner that is in that Bellator cage. You have someone special that's going to be making the.
I'm in Mohegan right now.
Oh, is that where you are? Oh, awesome. Well, I have her. I have KK's poster right now. I'll throw it up as you're speaking about her. Man, how excited are you? Are you her corner man?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, so she's cutting weight right now.
Right.
She's cutting weight right now. She might be done now at this point, but yeah, man, she's cutting weight. Feels like a friggin' animal. We were sparring yesterday. She's like picking me up and throwing me around. And it's like, damn, I'm like 165 right now, full of fucking ice cream. How are you doing this? So she's got a really tough girl, though, really good striker, huge prospect. She was signed to Bellator before she even had a pro fight, so she debuted in Bellator. So that they want this girl to win. But the meat grinder, man, she's here, and she's going to grind some Hawaiian meat on Friday. So it's gonna be great. Everybody should tune in. Bellator is putting it on, man. Every one of their cards are like fire. So I mean, the names aren't always the biggest or like whatever it is that some people are looking for. But if you're looking for good fights, this is where it's at. Bellator for sure. So KK, she's gonna be smashing some bitches. So definitely check that out.
Excellent, my man. Well, man, you can't get away from them Bellator people. So
I know,
so now you can smooth with the big wigs
they
again.
like me.
Yeah, I bet they like you, my man. Who can't like you, brother?
I'll try.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, like we've been waiting. I mean, we knew this time would happen. You didn't stop, man. You kept grinding. Ever since that Perrin fight, man, and I think it's come full circle, man. Fans want to see that fight. You guys want to see that fight. This seems like the perfect storm. This is going to be probably the biggest Cage Titans event that they've had coming out of COVID, man. I mean, this is going to be huge. So with that said, Johnny, you said your thank yous, all that. Everyone knows where I got it up, your social media. Give us a last sound bite about what you want, and what do you want next month? Or I can't say the date.
July 10th. I think that the Joker and Cupcakes absolutely need to just settle it 100%. It absolutely needs to happen. And the way that he's talking, it's like it has to happen. It's not a question. So he claimed that he wanted that fight and then he wouldn't take the fight because it was only like a week and a half's notice for a CES. Well, this is 6 weeks notice, more than enough time. And it's overdue. So and I think that it's a disqualifier match. Whichever one of us walks away the winner, I think goes on to big things, and the other one probably does nothing from there. So that I'll be fighting like it literally depends upon my life. So, and that's how I always fight. So that's the only way I know how is to just fight like it's the last moment of my life. And because of that, I show the world kind of who I am. And man, it's the most fun that I've ever had. You saw me in there with Corrales. I was having more fun than I've ever had in my life. And yeah, I don't think Perrin wants this. So we'll see.
Excellent, my man. Well, there you have it. Johnny Cupcakes Campbell saying what he wants and what he deserves. This huge fight. I think it's going to happen. I hope it happens, man. I mean, blow the roof off that place. Johnny, man, thank you so much for calling in tonight and, recapping your fight and, sharing the joy that you're having right now in your fighting life, man. It's you're gleaming, man, and we love it, man. You're a great guy, and you're making New England proud, bro.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your platform very much. So I look forward to doing it again very soon.
All right, my man. Have fun on Friday, man, and
Yes.
get them hands raised. Good night, my man.
Thank you, dude.
Take care. Awesome. So there you hear it. Johnny Cupcakes Campbell is at Mohegan Sun right now, getting KK ready for her Bellator debut this Friday. Also, Nate the Snake Andrews will be on that card, and Tyler King will also be on that card. So, 3 New England MMA fighters gonna be on the Bellator MMA card. So with that said, great show tonight. Awesome show tonight. Beads. Martina, I'm going to cut that piece out right now or throw it on Instagram. So with that said, thank you everyone for tuning in. It was an awesome podcast. I learned a lot. And, man, we'll see you next week. Next Wednesday night, I will have Dan Cormier from Triforce in the room with a couple of other training partners. There is fight news coming from them, from Dan, from whoever else he's bringing in here. I don't know. We'll let you know on Tuesday who my guests are with Dan Cormier from Triforce, but he will definitely be in the house. So with that said, thank you, everyone. I'm out of here. Watch Bellator Friday night. You have to. You have to watch it. Later.